And we are live.
We're
Welcome.
live. I sent someone a message, Merlin, this morning. I said, I'm going alive. It just came up alive. And I went, well, that's certainly better than going dead.
Well,
Like,
depends. I think it depends on your point of view, you
well,
know.
that's true. That's true. But when you're doing this with this little tiny keyboard on the phone, sometimes the words get quite mixed.
Yeah, they do. They do. They do.
Jumbledy. I was talking to my friend Christine this morning, and she goes, what did you mean when you sent me to load it? And I went, I sent load it? Wonder what that means. I have no idea. I didn't have my glasses on when I was texting you. No idea.
So what did you mean?
I meant promo it. I asked her if she would mind promoting these lives. I've been asking quite a few girlfriends so people know we're doing them, and how fun, and they can join. And
So
so
here we can see us. We're live through Zoom,
yeah.
We can look it up. We're
Oh,
actually
here we
here.
are. We're
Yeah, there
actually
we
here.
are.
We actually made it.
Yeah, we are. Welcome everyone. I'm here again. I'm joining Queen Kerr.
Welcome. And he's here again, and I'm here again because he's here again because Merlin figured out how to do it through Zoom.
Yeah.
Which is
We're
really
doing it.
awesome.
We're looking at different ways to make Money Mondays like super accessible and super easy for everyone engaging. So thank you so much for sharing and for being for being there.
Yeah.
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 What's up?
Thank you
What's
so
up?
much.
What's up today, Queen Kerr? What's
Well,
up
what's up
today?
today? I actually received a question in the email about the significance of money, which is how come I titled this, Is Money Significant? Or why? I can't remember what we titled it,
What
but
makes money significant?
what
What
makes
makes
money
money
significant?
so significant?
So I think the so part, because whenever you
So,
add so in front of a word, it then becomes significant. So the actual question was, it was more of sort of like a statement with a question attached and then a question, because it was, this is what came over as a question. Everything is energy. Well, I don't disagree, but how many people actually are able to hear that everything is energy? We are lucky. We've been studying quantum physics for over, I don't know how many years. So we know that there's a molecular structure to everything. We know that there's consciousness in every molecule in the universe. We know that if we could get our head out of the way, we could actually hear the molecular structure talking, and what's an example of that? I immediately think about years and years ago, there are these beautiful plants called sagos. They probably have another word for them too. I want to say king sagos, but that's not quite right. Anyway, a sago plant, and they're really have these sharp kind of palm-like things, and if you touch them, they stick you. But on the inside, they have babies. Well, the female ones do. And they look like little, not like walnuts. They look like little chestnuts. They're like that kind of oval-esque. And so I was actually at an access class that Dr. Dane here was doing, and I saw this plant. I was taking a walk at some point, before or after the class, and I saw these, and I reached in and I grabbed the babies and I put them in my hands, and they also have fuzz all over them. And it was like my hands were vibrating. And that was one of the most amazing experiences where I knew that these little babies, these plants, were actually desiring to gift me an energy. And this was like, I think in 2002, right? I was like, wow, they're, oh, wow, and I actually took them back to my hotel room, and I actually laid down and I put them in my hands and I laid down. And I wasn't a meditator really at that time, because my head moved so fast that I seemed like I could never really clear it enough to I didn't know what blank is. I actually don't think I know what blank is still. I don't know what blank is.
I think you're always on and aware, you know, like
Like,
what, any which way, observing you for like a small three
oh,
weeks.
oh
And
my
it's a
God.
gift. Like it's so fun actually to experience that it's actually okay and great to be so energetic and to be so, you know, engaging with all those energies all the time. Like, and then looking at how many people are not even empowered to know that about themselves, that that is such a, like, that is energy, that that is power, that that is awareness, that they're, you know, there's often all these doing control, obviously. But yeah, it is a gift to actually perceive the world, and including money, as energy. But you know, like the most common thing, you know, like also it in facilitating, or in, you know, like in daily life conversations, when you bring the word energy up, it's like mostly people identify it as I have no energy. So it's like this narrative of lack is so dominant. So when you bring in, it's like, you know, what if everything is energy? It usually like messes with the computer straight away. But I've also noticed that people that either how do you say that, if they don't want to hear it, they probably won't be close to you. But if they have to require to hear it somehow, they might not be receptive of, or they might not look receptive of it immediately. But it's like, you know, it's like, what if they ask for? Because a lot of people have like lived by this computer says no, 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 that everything is like linear and rational and stuff, and everything needs to be figure outable in some way. Yet, you know, like just knowing that everything is energy. Yeah, I mean, who else would like to know and really acknowledge and embody that?
The difficult thing about everything is energy is that everything is not figure outable.
Yeah. Well, is it difficult? Like I'm learning that, I think it's like I'm learning that muscle anew, like really knowing that. I think that really, boom, like there was no escaping um, that being anymore, like since a couple of months ago. So it's like, I don't know about you, Quinker, I'm like navigating this whole new way of net of actually acknowledging everything as energy. And yeah.
I was mainly referring to, I was thinking about my life before 2000. I was thinking
Yeah.
about all the ways I was seeking for a way to be happy, and I was seeking
Mm,
for something. I just knew there had to be more than what I was living. I
yeah.
couldn't just be a divorced single mom. That this could not be my life. You know, I mean, even though I love my children and it was great, you know, I was like, you know, I was able to care for someone and have them receive. That was my like first engagement with receiving the two babies. And so what a gift they were. And wow, I just never knew that energy was so palpable.
Oh yeah.
But
Wow.
also, yeah, palpable, but also when I think about it, I called it something different. I believe that before I was introduced to the access tools, I would refer to energy as feelings and emotions.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I have an example of that actually. I can bring it in now or later.
Oh, bring it in, bring it in.
It's like I've been working, like, you know, generated a lot of money with my Access business, also got into a great amount of tax debt by kind of like just financial mismanagement, really. Like I was not really skilled at having so much money, at making so much money, at having people in place that would actually empower that amount of money instead of try to get rid of it, or, you know, like, you know, people's points of view create something with your life and your business. And if you're not totally aware of it, like, you know, and it's like, it's not really a judgeable offense because it's only empowered me to evolve and grow. However, there was this, you know, big tax debt that I've been kind of like, you know, like basically filling up the gaps for quite a couple of years. But it's like it's actually learned me so much. And it was so painful for such a long time. Like, you know, anyway, all this energy. So
Wait,
then
wait. What are you calling painful? Because that's a feeling.
I know, all the energy that was around that whole, reality with the tax authorities and with the numbers and with the communication. So when I finally got some loans settled, and some arrangements done, that was like the total amount, which was in the 10,000s. I won't, say the
Right.
exact number, but it was in the, like, it's considered to be quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then I hung up the phone with her and I saw that amount and I was like, wow, that's a lot of energy. And acknowledging that was like, boom, it just blew this whole matrix apart of that even being real. And that, like, that it's actually just energy. But it started with kind of like the segue into it was kind of like, oh, a lot of money. Oh, a lot of energy. Oh, energy. And I just sat with that for a couple of minutes and I just received it all. And it made me smile. It's like, wow, okay. And I actually felt my body relax for the first time in years around taxes. I know a lot of people that go bazookas around taxes, and I kind of like have a sense I know why. I mean, that whole system might not be super like designed for the empowerment of the individual, and
Yeah,
especially if
definitely.
you're especially if you're tad aware of all the works that go in and around it, and then just kind of like finally having peace with that, like or even if it were a glimmer of peace, it was so I was so grateful for that moment and for that conversation. And because she was like, because I brought in also couple of things about the law and how actually the tax authorities don't really kind of like, do everything by law, but we just adhere to it because. However, knowing that, it was really cool to kind of be like, okay, it's a lot of energy to go into, oh wow, it's just energy. So, but I had to take that step of so significant to, interesting, you know?
Yeah, that step, that is a step that
Yeah,
one must take.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like you were told how to do this when you came here or in school.
No, no. So that's also the feeling part. I had to include that feeling part. I could not push it away anymore. Consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. So yeah, there was one of those unexpected gifts of making a lot of money, having to pay a lot of money, and then it's just money. So, what is our point of view on energy? What is our point of view on money? What is our point of view on, and we've had lots of conversations about this the last couple of weeks, even if we were just kind of like, like these moments going by, having a coffee. Yeah, there's a couple of comments actually.
Oh,
Shall I
great.
read them out? Marianne's here. Hey, Marianne.
Hi,
Marianne
Mary.
says, Marianne said, I used to think it was my bum falling asleep, but then I realized it was the earth gifting to me about, receiving from nature, receiving from the earth. That's so awesome.
Wow.
Then she says, I was taught to question everything since I was little. My teachers didn't like that much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Because why don't they like it?
don't question the teacher's narrative or way of doing things or
Well,
computer.
but look at it. Do they actually have an answer or response if you question them? And then if they don't know, then they go into judgment that they're not the good teacher. I mean, I had this amazing discussion with a friend of mine day before yesterday, all about people who are unwilling to admit they don't know and how dangerous that can be, particularly if you have hired people who have to know because that's their title. Well, does everybody know everything? No. Even the experts or teachers don't know everything. but they have to seem like they know.
Yeah.
And
Have this.
teachers to lawyers to financial advisors, if they have any problem with admitting they don't know, then that becomes a big energy that can bring big problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you facilitate money classes, you get facilitated, as with all the classes. When you facilitate any classes, you get facilitated. And so that's what the warning, the yellow tape, warning, this area is maybe blocked off. That should be the warning when you go to facilitate. And because very similar thing that you went through, I've been going through after facilitating Right Riches classes for what, 10 years, almost 10 years, something like that. All of a sudden, I had all these incidences, which I won't go into, that, wait, what? You're saying I'm what? My portfolio has gone down. Wait, what happened to it? I had all these incidences because I had taken my awareness and my present out. I had assigned looking after my money to someone else, and I had taken myself out, trusting that someone else had my back, and they don't, and they won't. You can hire someone to do a job, but never trust that they care about your money more than you. And that was my mistake. And I paid dearly for it. And I've been recouping, thank God. I have tools, thank God. We have, Gary's example. Gary Douglas has given us, these examples when he got the $2 million tax bill.
Yeah.
That
was actually
dollar tax bill.
Yeah.
And don't you remember him saying, and then he was going to go buy some jewelry at a show? I'll never forget this. And somebody who was on one of his accounting teams or something said, you can't buy any jewelry. You owe the government $2 million. And he goes, what, are they going to come eat me? And I love that example. He always told me I could use any examples I wanted to from him. And I love that. He's like, are they going to eat me? Like, literally, what do you mean I can't buy a $10,000 whatever piece of jewelry?
Yeah. I also really had to kind of change, look at the points of view and notice that if they were relevant for me or not, because it brought up a lot, like not having a lot of spendable income anymore. Just all of a sudden from making so much money to still making a lot of money, but not really having any spendable income. It's like a lot of people like my sense is also this is like why a lot of people don't actually go on in living and being as an entrepreneur and having and expanding their business, because these might be some of the perks. I've heard so many people go through a similar story, and it's actually so shame. It took me a while to speak out about it because I was embarrassed as fuck, facilitating so many things around money and empowerment and this and that, and then all of a sudden this. But hey,
me too.
Yeah, it's been one of the greatest gifts though, because it's not particularly been super fun. Yet what I can say is that it's been empowering my whole life through this, one tool of money. The thing we call money, the thing that is made significant.
The thing we call money, we should do a little offshoot song, that crazy little thing called love.
Money.
Money. Money. And what makes it significant is you, me.
Yeah.
All of us, we make it significant. If it wasn't significant in our minds, it wouldn't be significant. Yeah. We put on it. That's how money gets to be significant, is our point of view, our presumed reality, our thoughts, feelings, and emotions lead instead of our knowing.
The thing we buy. And you know what? Especially the last half year, everything I thought it was my thinking about money was never even mine. It's just an energy I used to do that. So wow, what a relief it's been to just kind of like do hands off on doing control on all these money and financial realities. That's
That-
actually, you know,
And that's even a completely different point of view. That's like, is it even your point of view? We have our points of view, first of all, to even know what our points of view are, and then
yeah,
are they even our points of view? And how much glop and how much stuff is all that clogs our awareness, so we really have a hard time knowing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because you know, I cannot not be aware around money. If I know, like I was just doing some, you know, like some pre-work for my bookkeeper, and I know when I go and, you know, actually engage with all those systems and stuff, I will get like the download of all the energy. And that's where I could go to like, I don't want to do this, or feels heavy, or I cannot like log into this system. Because if you don't want to log in, you will actually most likely create that is not, it will not work to log into your bank account.
But
You know,
let's
I've
look at that, let's look at that energy right there, Merlin.
that is like energy.
Not wanting, not desiring, it's the avoidance.
Yeah.
And I have done it, I have lived it. And what I've had to do, and let me hear what you had to do. What I had to do was I had to just set a time. I'm going to do this then. I had to set time and going, okay, this day is all for me, going through all my bills, all my invoices, what goes to the CPA, what do I need? I mean, I had to literally set time aside. It didn't just happen. It
No.
didn't just create itself.
Yeah, to choose.
I had to choose. I had to choose to put my attention on that. And in many ways, it was, I didn't have time to do a lot of other things I was doing that
Yeah.
were creation. I
Yeah.
had to kind of stop one creation and take a look at, okay, me, and what am I doing? And what have I been creating? And where did I not put my attention that I need to put my attention? It's sort of like laying another foundation, but a better foundation. I want to think of the, the three little pigs with, they had what, the brick house, the straw house, and what was the other house?
Oh,
There's a brick house, a straw
I would
house.
love to say the candy house, but it's not accurate.
It's like a candy, but it's like that. I know there's the brick house. It's the only one that didn't get blown away in the wind. There's a straw,
The wooden house? Was it
maybe,
wood? I don't know.
I don't know. There are two houses. There
Yeah.
are three little pigs, but no, only one builds a brick house. And the brick house is the only one that doesn't get blown away by the storm.
A stick house, says
Maybe
Marianne.
a stick house. Yeah, a stick house. Well, that's a straw house. There was a straw house, but there's two weak houses.
Yeah.
And really, I was not educated as a child, not from my parents, not from my father, not from my school. I was never financially educated. And I have had to learn the very hard way by losing a lot of money. And that was my wake-up call.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for it too. And whether, I really get that facilitating money classes gave me the gift of knowing and being aware before
Yeah.
it was all gone. So I
Yeah.
could make amends. I could change what I was doing, and I could look at different ways to create money, wealth, and all this stuff. And I'm forever grateful,
Yeah. Yeah.
because even though I knew the tools, then I had to work them differently. I had to work them for me in a desperate situation.
Well, that's why most humanoids get to work.
Like, what the F, and like, wow. And so all these things that I've been through and that you've been through are such a gift to people if they listen. Now, they may not listen because, when I was a teenager, I never listened to anyone. I always thought I was right.
Yeah. Oh,
Even
interesting.
even in my 20s, I was
Yeah.
pretty sure that I knew better. And what an arrogant twit was I, wow. And, and I'm just like, wow, I wish I'd had a me at this age to listen to take advice from.
Oh, wow.
Or
I
to at
know.
least talk to go, well, what about
Yeah.
this? What about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things I have done is surrounded myself, I will say in the last 3 to 5 years, I have really given myself older women that I speak to, women who've been in the financial industry. I have a amazing new friend who used to run venture capitalist entrepreneurship seminars. That's what she did for like 20 years. And this is my new friend who I get to like talk to. And I'm like so thrilled about it because there's so much I need to learn just to
Mm.
take care of myself while, for the rest of my life. And I've learned a lot, but there's still some, education, that piece of education.
I love education. It's one of the gifts of living, actually. That I did not fully kind of like understand, like, or I didn't even get that was valuable, because I was like, you were just saying like, I was not educated. Then I was like, was I educated? Was I not educated? Like, in what ways was I educated around money? Like, I had like economics and all that stuff like in school, yet I was never really interested. Like, it just made me go like blah 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 blah. But that already there was all that energy, but also like this techie programming energy that's also, it comes with money. Like, there's no way around it, actually, if you ask me.
Okay. Marlon,
Yeah.
let's do a process about that?
Yeah.
Because when you said in school and the economics, I immediately looked at, oh my gosh, I hated mathematics.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh, totally like, I wanted
Yeah.
to, but it was so hard.
What? And I had to be tutored in mathematics, like
Yeah.
for years, which in a way actually was a better education because then I had personal one-on-one teaching. But so I wonder, okay, so just for those who are watching, did you ever resist and react to a mathematics teacher or an economics teacher? Or did you have any resistance and reactions to school because of the presentation, because of the teacher, because you knew there had to be something different? You knew that this couldn't be the only way to educate yourself. So
Where did the power had to work itself through the matrix of this reality?
yeah. And first of all, what's the gift that you haven't acknowledged about your education, and everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive the gift of your past education and your current possibilities? Will you destroy and create all that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, call nine, just boys, oh bads, and beyonds. So as we know these tools, the energy comes up and like, wow, looking at the gifts, looking at the frustrations, looking at where we resisted and reacted or avoided. If we can just take a few minutes, take a few deep breaths, and relax with that information instead of resisting it.
Yeah.
You all know that you haven't really acknowledged that you actually know about money, that you know about mathematics, that you know. Where is your knowing desiring to take you, would be my question.
It's like the infinite being working through your daily life. I just love that acknowledgement. Like, consciousness has our backs, and like our infinite being will show us what else we can include to make our lives function better, greater, more fun, less struggle, more ease, whichever way you want to go.
Especially
um
during the really, really difficult times. I mean, literally, I think I've been under more mental stress the last, I don't know, I want to say it began for me in 2015. Difficult things began to show up, but I kind of ignored them and and I should have fired some people then that I didn't. Because why? Because I didn't have the trust in myself that I do now. Damn.
and thanks to all those, like, here, like, Same, but it's not all been a drama. A lot of it has been super
No.
awesome. Like we also can acknowledge that. Like what has been so awesome about the things that we have created with money, or what has been so great, actually. Everything's the opposite of what it appears to be. Nothing's the opposite of what it appears to be. There's a gift in everything. Like, and the more we've talked about this, Queen Kerr, the more that we've just been receiving more from whatever we had not fully received yet. And, it keeps on giving. I would say life on planet Earth, the gift that keeps on giving, that will contribute to you if you let it, if you allow it.
And
I
back to
mean,
something you said earlier, if you're willing to relax and see all this significance, stress, drama around money as energy, when
yeah,
you see it as energy, then you become that great infinite being, and you're
yeah,
observing it. You're
yeah,
not in the tornado of it.
yeah, yeah,
And that's what I have had to purpose to do.
yeah,
And I'm good at it some days, and I'm not so good at it some days. I'm great at it sometimes, and I fail sometimes. But at least I constantly am going, okay, I have the question. And this is the beauty and the strength, I would say, of my life. I now have the ability to ask questions to anyone, anywhere, anytime.
yeah,
Not like really obnoxious questions, although I'm
yeah.
tempted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and sometimes also we might not have the question immediately. And that's okay to give it some space to let that question ripen, because that also comes with a relaxation with the energy. Like so often I could go like, oh, I don't really know I'm not even sure what to say. But then if I
Yeah,
give it space,
yeah.
if I give it space and if I relax with it, the energy actually moves. Relaxation and space allow the energy to move. That we're not, instead of doing control on that energy, we're just relax. We use that same power as we can use to do control on that energy, to cling on to the stress. We can just do hands off and relax with it. And the question will come. Like we've had a couple of conversations where we noticed that what we would bring in brought something up, or it was like felt a bit like, oh, like that. But it was like so random. It was all this energetic landscape that was like, And then we just gave it some time, and then we just came back to it. Like, hey, what was that energy? Like I really learned to talk with my boyfriend also in terms of energy, because so often there was this energy that I don't know, we could both interpret as so many different ways. And whether it was around money, or around the house we live in, or around sex, or around, boyfriends, or around family, or around anything. And like and then I just thought, as like, what is this energy? Can you help me here? And he had no words for it either, so we were both vulnerable with that energy. And then with us just being with it, we actually kind of like sensed that change, but we could not really do it with our heads. We had to kind of like really choose presence and vulnerability. And that's also what I've been doing with money, and with the taxes, and with talking to the financial people, like getting into, crypto realm also, like, just relaxing all the time, because it's like,
And
it's
learning,
this,
relaxing
yeah,
and learning.
relaxing
Relax.
and learning, and this training of making yourself not necessarily aligning and agreeing with those energies, but at least compatible enough to receive it without a point of view, and to let it contribute to you when it just can, when you can just use it, where you can just, try it out, or, talk to
Yeah,
some people.
but just to be willing to learn and be willing not to reject everything you don't know
Yeah. And everything
is
that feels funky, everything that
or
feels
everything
funky.
feels funky, or as some people say, heavy. It
Yeah.
really bothers me when people give me excuses. I can't do it because it's not light. Bullshit.
I know that one is
Bullshit.
so,
It's such bullshit. It drives me fucking crazy.
the light and heavy tool in that way is so abused through and through.
So abused. You know what? It's like the beautiful
So heavy.
being abused. But before I get into that, which we may or may not get into, I want to pull out something you said about surfing the landscape of words versus energy in your relationship with your boyfriend. And it reminded me that you're creative, that you come from a very creative background as well. Theater, dance, art, choreography. I come from a creative background of painting. I was in painting class when I was 7 years old. And even when I was in kindergarten, my mother told me that the teacher, like I could never sleep. And so she put me in another room and gave me like paint and a piece of paper. And she said, you were quiet and happy and you didn't bother anybody else. And I just let you do that. So I've been painting, and that just being able to be with your own energy when you dance, Merlin, or when I paint. And I had kind of given that up for a while. And beginning to look at that flow of creativity. And in that creativity, what was the basis of how I lived and breathed and moved? I would ask questions. Oh, what color wants to go here? Oh, I wonder what this color looks like with this. Being in the creative flow is all about question.
Yeah.
And it's all
Well,
about being willing to like destroy something that doesn't work,
yeah.
or to transform it
Yeah.
into something else,
Yeah.
tear it up and start again. And how that land, even the words, and creativity is in words, writing, literature, poetry.
Yeah.
There's this realm of creativity that is so important for people to tap into.
Yeah.
And in what ways can that, like that same energy of question, bring it into how do I deal with the tax accountants?
Yeah. Wow, it's so funny because when all of this shit in my world back then hit the fan, there was so many things that I wanted to do to actually escape my business as it was, not because I disliked the business, but everything that came with it. So I was like, okay, what can I add? What energy can I add here? And then my drag that I currently have and that I yesterday got out of, that's why I'm so freshly shaven.
Your skin looks so good, Mark.
I know. It's also like the Zoom filter, but actually my skin has really improved. I wonder.
Zoom filter, whatever that is.
We'll look at it. We'll look at it. It makes things just a little softer. My skin is really improved. Like so many things about my body, my physical reality have changed with doing drag. Because what you were just talking about, the painting, before I did theater, before I did anything, I would paint too. I would be and I would say having this sense of wonder. There was not a lot of cognitive questioning in my universe as far as I can remember. There was more of this like how you see an animal play with, something, whatever they're playing with. That's kind of like how I see myself a bit as a kid. And then actually going into drag and putting my makeup on yesterday, I also realized that, oh yeah, I actually really enjoy doing it. Like I don't take a lot and a long time anymore. And sometimes I really like to go into the practice, but I did not really give myself, I would say, full permission to really go out and to really play with the makeup, because I was busy with that, busy with this, busy with that. Don't want to spend too much time on my makeup, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. And I can still do it fast. I mean, it can be a choice to just get it on and do it fast. To me, I know my face and I know, but then I'm like, wow, that I brought that energy back into my life, like painting my face, working with my body, actually taking care of my skin and nurturing my body more. Like people have all sorts of points of view about makeup, that it does this to you, that I've only seen my skin get better, actually working with it more. Like it's the same as kind of like not pulling energy for a while, like with your head. So you're like engaging with your being, like it gets stronger and more empowered and more, flexible also when you keep on working the physical and the energetic muscles, but also remembering the physical muscles are also energetic because it's all vibration. You can see your body as real. That's one of the things that's really helped me a lot with pain. Pain. I mean, like if it's something is intense, then you're shutting it out. That's basically the way we're taught to do it. Like really kind of like just being with it, like really going there, and also acknowledging it as moving energy. Like, after the stem cell treatments, like now, like now 2 weeks later, I've had such a weird week with my body where I just feel it move all the time, inside out, from the inside. I lie down, it's like a bubble machine. But the thing is, it's not a gnarly bubble. It's not a painful bubble, even though I know a lot of people would go to fight or flight, or they would get like, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? My body's out of control. It's like, my butt is increased in size. I'm not really sure what's happening. But this stuff is oh, like there's so many things, actually, like energies, like moving through my body. It's such a wild but very intimate experience. So that's also like, like to just go back into the physical experience also of money, that can also become so significant instead of just energetic. Like for me, this like I really learn, between brackets, through those experience. What was that? Experiential actualization. What was that word?
Which time? Where are we?
That was that let me see if I can see it. Not sure if I can find it.
My friend said yesterday, she said she did an interview with an old cowboy, and he said, if you ain't got the experience, you ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. I can't find it. It was something that Dane said when we were in the San Diego airport on the way to Mexico. There was this thing. There was this two words that came up. Anyway, never mind. We experiential actualization, something like that. I'm not sure. We'll get back to you about that, listeners. Sorry about that.
But it's the energy of, actualizing the experiences you would like to have. And then sometimes you actualize the experiences you might not like to have. And yet all of them can be and are created for your growth.
Absolutely.
I mean,
100% agree.
Yeah, everything that I've resisted, which is, I spent a lot of my life resisting, for many various reasons, are all things that as I have allowed the energy, the education, and the awareness and the knowing to rise, they've all made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And for whatever fucking reason, I apparently needed to go this route to get to where I was today. And then and for our audience, as we come to the close of this, what if everything you've chosen was exactly what you required, this journey, this time, this life? It is what you required, not what you desired, but what you required to get you to where you are today. What if all of life can be a gift? All of your past can be a gift. Would you be willing to look at it as so and know that it is what makes you who you are today, the gift you are today?
Put a ribbon on top. I'm not just kidding. I just made like a gift box out of my head for any of those of you that are just listening. Yeah. New rule of thumb for me. Like it's either I've asked, like, what if I asked for? That is never a rational thing, but it's always the ask for me always comes from like general empowerment of embodiment on planet Earth. And what is the power in this? Because, for example, if it's something with someone else, or something with some system or with some other sort or source or with some other relationship, it always shows me where I can get more empowered and where they might have asked for more empowerment, or where that is just emerging because two, I would say, energies, meet and what they emerge within each other, which so often occurs in relationship, which is so misunderstood. If you ask me, that whole energetic dance of what, it all facilitates for one another, because we can make all of that so personal about ourselves, about our life partners, about money, about people that do their work. And like when my life changed when I started to see everything as just energy. And I'm so looking forward to
Just energy.
what is next, not ignoring that it's going on, yet knowing, this is the thing, knowing, that's like this big infinite knowing, this knowing that everything is just energy. Wow, I cannot go back to the way I used to do things. So what else is possible now?
And that's great. That's a great, fortunate choice.
Yeah, kind of hit me just a couple of times until I was like, oh, it's just energy. I just required enough practice with this reality to really, receive and acknowledge it.
Yeah, the practice.
Yeah.
That really, it all takes practice. And that's what I think we do every day.
Yeah.
We practice being present, being aware, and coming out of judgment when we're not. That's the biggie. Coming out of judgment when we're not.
Yeah.
At least that's been for me.
Yeah. And it's also there, like I've been looking at is like, okay, what is here for me to receive, because, so often it's like the judgment looks real and I'm making it personal, but it's just an energy that is actually showing itself for me to receive it. And it doesn't make sense at all here, but the energetic landscape is so, yeah, so magical.
So much doesn't make sense here.
No.
And that's a big, everybody who's listening, are you willing to be okay with things not making sense here?
Oh, big gift.
That's a big gift. And if you can give that gift to yourself, it just is not sensible.
Everything
Is not.
Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Nothing's the opposite of what it appears to be.
And not logical. Doesn't make sense. People are not logical. They don't make sense. And just be an allowance of that. That's a great gift. Great gift. Well, Mur, are we wrapping it up? Is this a wrap? Feels like it's a wrap.
It feels like it's a wrap. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Marianne, thank you so much for all your comments. We didn't get to all of them, but we will get back to probably some when the chat. Next week, same time, same space. What's happening?
Same bat channel, same bat time. So far.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us.
Bye.
Bye-bye for now.